Hello and welcome to How to Play Triangle, a game for one player. This game comes to us from Solitaire by David Parlett, and it is an interesting game in that you might assume that this is Pyramid Solitaire, but I've checked YouTube and nobody else has covered this game. This is actually a very different game, somewhat similar to Klondike, but there's a different packing and building instruction and rules in this game. So we need 2 decks of cards, and you're going to shuffle them together, and then we're going to deal 8 cards in a column for the first column on the left. Make sure you have 8. Double count. Make sure. Okay, there we go. Now let's go with 7 cards in the next one, followed by 6, followed by 5, and you probably have the intuition to know we're going to go 4, 3, 2, and 1. And that is the setup. We're going to have a draw deck and a discard pile, and we're going to be able to play cards from the discard pile, and we're going to be able to build onto the 8 foundations as we find aces. And we're going to be able to build them up in suit, starting with ace, going up to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, jack, queen, and king in suit. And we're also able to build cards in the columns as long as they are the same suit and 1 rank lower. But we also have a third rule that's going to make this game somewhat complicated, and you'll have to pay attention here. And that is I cannot play a card of a lower rank onto a higher ranked card if the column of cards has more cards than the column that the card is being played from. You'll notice I have 2 6 of clubs here in this scenario. I am unable to play them to the 7 of clubs and pack on the 7 of clubs because that is the rule. The card columns they are on, one has 4 cards, the other has 3, and where the 7 of clubs is on, it has, of course, 6 cards. So therefore, that rule prevents that. So I'm going to have to play from the draw deck. Let me adjust the camera because you really can't see it well. Okay, that's a lot better. So I'm going to have to play from the draw deck and get these cards on there. And I need to look ahead because I have 8 foundation piles. Now I have an issue. I have 2 aces out of the 8 aces that I need. They're locked up underneath other cards. The ace of spades in particular is very egregiously locked up. So my hope is that I get to do this. I have 1 redeal. So once I shuffle through these cards, once I go through these cards and either build them onto foundation piles or pack them onto existing columns, which the rule on existing columns, you could play from the discard pile and immediately play to any of the columns as long as it's 1 card rank lower and of the same suit. That doesn't matter, but when you're packing from the other columns onto others, you have to make sure you have an even number of cards, which is what I'm pointing out here. I'm saying, okay, these 2 columns have an even number of cards, therefore if a legal move was available, I could build on that. And that is, could pack on that. And that is the only rule that really complicates matters in this game that would otherwise make it a very straightforward and easy game, which is the only rule that really gives it its challenge. You get 1 redeal, and the other thing is you have to pack in suit in descending order. Not a far departure off of most solitaires. Some solitaires are off color. Some solitaires are in ascending order and building in descending order. But we're building foundations in ascending order like most solitaires have of this nature. So we're going to usually get our coin here, but I had to use a dice instead today because, well, I just couldn't find a coin at the moment for some reason. I just didn't see one. And if I would have looked a little bit harder, I would have found one because my coin coffee mug that I keep all my spare change in on the rare moments of my life that I use cash these days, I do keep it in a coffee mug over to the left, and I just forgot about it, so I went ahead and grabbed a dice because I've been messing around with some dice lately. And since this is going to be a longer video than normal while we're going through this, and you pretty much know the game now, I'm only going to comment when something significant happens, like maybe we play that 4 of hearts there, and we just keep going through our cards. We find a 9, we can play it there. The other thing, too, is in this game, you can move entire stacks of cards. I think that's in the picture of the rules and maybe the rules shot themselves. But just in case you missed it, you can move entire stacks of cards. Now, I'm not able to move that Queen of Hearts to the King of Hearts because the stacks are not even. The King of Hearts is on a longer stack. You can't move a card from a longer stack to a shorter. You can move from the longer stack to the shorter, but you can't move from the shorter to the longer. That's the thing that really complicates this game. And as you notice in the packing sequence, you're packing in descending order, which means Most solitaires would let you do that. This one will not. So I also cannot move that queen and jack of hearts stack to the king of hearts, because even with the addition of that jack, it's still one card more than that stack that it's on. So it's just somewhat of a complicated game, somewhat of a complicated nature, which makes it a little bit harder to solve, and that gives you a little bit of challenge. And I think there's also something to be said about playing solitaire games in the physical realm and having to know the rules and having to navigate the rules. It makes you think a lot more. So if you ever feel like you're in a mental fatigue, my suggestion would be play solitaire. So now we finally have enough cards to move that stack over. That opens up that 6 of diamonds, which we can immediately play, which is a good thing because we need to advance these decks, we need to advance these books, and we need to try to solve this game. But yeah, I have a lot of dice next to me because lately I've been doing this thing called gambling, and it's only something I picked up after I've worked hard most of my life to be able to afford the luxuries like that. When I gambled in the past, it was usually roulette. It was usually on a 1-to-1 bet, and what I usually do is I'd usually make one big bet for the night and then leave. So there we had one from a longer stack to a shorter. That's allowed. Then we'll move that stack because they're the same number of card lengths, and even equal lengths are possible. Now we have a vacancy, which means we can fill it with any card. We can fill it with the 4 of hearts in the discard pile. We can fill it with any stack of legally stacked cards like that king, queen, jack of hearts, which I think I'll do now. That makes that 8 become available, which means I go 9, 10, and the jack. So now I am ready for the queen of clubs. So I have that 3 of spades, which I'm honestly at the moment not able to do anything with. So I need to advance my deck. I have a 5 spades, a second 5 of spades. There's a 4 of diamonds that can be immediately used. And I'm just constantly looking to see if there's anything I can play. Now we've got our first book complete. The question is, can I solve this game or not? I'll play that ace there. That unlocks that ace. So we're looking pretty good at the moment. I'm going to be able to play that 9 and 10 there. I have some options, of course, with that stack. Now I'll place that queen there. So that 9 can go from a longer to a shorter. And maybe I'm forgetting that rule at the moment, but maybe I'm also checking with something else. Maybe I can do that, or I've just temporarily forgotten. Whatever the reason was, we'll just advance and keep going. All right, so we got our 10. Let's see. Do we have that? We have that 2. We have the 3. We have another vacancy. So I know I can move that 10 over, play that 3 there, and that will give us a vacancy. I could play that 9 to the 10, but maybe I'm forgetting the rule again. Or maybe I'm questioning what I can do. Okay, there we go. There's the king. That completes, so that queen and jack can be on the same one. And now let's see. Do we have... There's the 10. There's a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, jack, and queen. Let's see. That gives us 2 vacancies to work with. Now that 10, 9 can move on to that jack. We got the 6. We need to find that 5. We're probably going to need that 5. I might put this in the vacancy, but I'm not 100% sure here. Okay, I'll just go ahead and do that. And let's see. There's a jack that I can't do anything with. And there's a 6. And, of course, I've lost. So let's go ahead and reshuffle and remember the rule 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's the setup of this game. You overlap your cards. Only the cards at the very bottom of each column are available for packing or building onto the foundation piles. We are attempting to find all 8 aces and building up in suit from ace to king. And then, of course, we can pack on the lowest card of each column in descending order in the same suit, as long as they're 1 card less, and the column that the cards are being packed onto has less cards than the column that is being moved from. And we cannot move a card from a lesser column to one with the longer series of cards. That's the only complication of this game, and we'll get started again. Now I can move that queen over because the king and queen are on the same number of cards, so that stack is legal to move. And so like I've been saying, I've been practicing gambling, especially learning the game of craps. I think I finally understand craps to a working knowledge enough to where I could play it competently, know what my bets mean. but not enough to administer it because it is a complicated game. And from what I understand of watching the videos I've been watching in the past few months, it apparently filters out a lot of dealers. A lot of people that go to learn to deal craps have a hard time with it, struggle with it. It's a lot to remember, and it's a very difficult game to administer. In fact, it usually takes 3 administrators. Now, the casino I've been going to, of course, is in Oklahoma. It's on the Indian Reservation. Canada, they might call them First Nations. Really, it's just, if we named them each individual tribe, it's a Chickasaw Nation. And I've also gone to the Choctaw Nation's casino. They kind of compete with each other. They're about 30 miles apart, the same distance Dallas and Fort Worth are from each other. They're maybe a little bit further than that. But there's a casino that the Choctaw run in Durant, and it is a smaller casino with a more confusing layout, easier to get lost in. And that would be, of course, the Choctaw Casino in Durant, Oklahoma, and also play at WinStar in Thackerville, Oklahoma, which is literally within the first few feet of you crossing the border. You're pretty much already on their property. So they have a huge advantage in that they can get Dallas and Fort Worth's traffic, whereas Choctaw, it's a little bit more of a further drive from Fort Worth for me to get over there. So go ahead and stack our coins. So now we got a vacancy looking pretty good. So put our coin down as soon as we move all the cards over that we want to move over. There's that 2 of clubs. I'll go ahead and move that. Question is what to fill that vacancy with, or should I turn the deck over? I think I'll do that king and queen because I noticed that jack of spades is there. Now, also, I want you guys to know this is the second time I've played this solitaire. That's what you're seeing in the footage. The first one's my first game, the first game that you saw. So I've never played this before. Now, I know that 5-4 can go there, but I can't move it back over once I move that, once I put those 5 and 4 of clubs onto the 6. So it's kind of a useless move at the moment. So I'm leaving it alone. I'm going to wait till the 3 comes up, and then move the 6 on there and create a vacancy that way. So I've been playing, of course, at WinStar. I've learned craps. Last time I went in, I was able to take a $20 bill on a bubble craps, and I was able to turn it to about $140 without adding any other money that I legitimately won. So I've understood craps now enough to do it. There is a game there that I'm going to do a video on, and I'm being told that while I was over there, it's a game that's going away because not enough people are playing it. One of the problems being, of course, that whoever these casino game manufacturers are act like they don't want their game being filmed and put on YouTube, and others, a casino game, it's really, the casinos only go with what everybody knows. So there's going to be, as far as table games, a lot of blackjack, and because of the Chinese and Asian influence and immigration into Dallas-Fort Worth, there's going to be a lot of baccarat, which is a game I've also learned and have a good working knowledge of because it's essentially a coin flip. It's nothing complicated about it. But so there's going to be a lot of baccarat simply because Asian origin people mostly love that game. And there will be blackjack and various forms of blackjack, which I don't pay attention to. There's also going to be poker variants that mostly aim to give the casino great odds. Not saying I know that for sure, but you won't catch me playing those usually. Now, why I didn't move that 10 of spades over, I have no idea. I should have created a vacancy there, but now I could move that 10 of spades over, but I guess I'm forgetting. This is the second time I played this game, so I can easily forget the rule. Now I remembered it. So now I'm looking to see what I have. Have a queen of clubs. Not quite ready for that card yet, so I'll go ahead and keep advancing. But yeah, apparently 3 Dice Baccarat is a game that I play as well. And it's an interesting game, but they're telling me that it's a game that's going to disappear because not enough people are playing it. So I actually won some money on it because just like Baccarat with the cards, you have 3 dice, and it's real easy to figure out. You either bet on the banker, bet on the player, or bet for a tie, and there's a bunch of other side bets that I don't consider it worth. Only one of them hit while I was there, and it would not have been one I would have kept putting money on until it did happen. Mostly I just care about the coin flip of is it the banker or the player that's going to win, and that's easier than roulette because when it does tie, it's a push, and that's just overall a better experience. There's only one rule that really favors casino, and that is if a 3 beats a 0, The casino considers that a push. They don't consider that a win. So it's just one of the rules they have. But I'm going to film a video on it and hopefully get some more business. So if you are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and you like to gamble, or you would want to do a small risk gamble, it's like a coin flip. You put $50 on coin landing on heads or tails. Show up to Choctaw and Durant and bet on 3 Dice Baccarat. And so as you see, we've completed all books, so we've won. So yay! So anyways, if you haven't came on to Board Game Arena and tried to play drop down solitaire poker, I really need everybody to go on there. Send me a message so I can add you to the alpha play testing group. I need more people to play test that so we can get it into beta so the general population can play it. So far, I've not encountered any issues with the game on the technical basis. It works as programmed. So go in there, Board Game Arena, and send me a message so I can add you. Do check out our Discord. We have a link for it in the description. Do call up your friends and let them know you'd like to play some cards. They might say yes. They might say no. They might argue with you. You never know what they're going to say, but sometimes it needs to be you to make that phone call to tell them that you want to play some cards. So do like and subscribe and share these videos with other people you know like playing card games, dice games, and domino games. And do answer this month's poll. And also want to thank today's musician, and I'll see everybody, of course, next video.